Three friends boarded Disney's Galactic Starcruiser to seek their destiny and emerged as heroes of the Halcyon.
Good journey, friends, and welcome to Heroes of the Halcyon, the best, and to the best of our knowledge, only Galactic Starcruiser Superfan podcast. I'm Galactic Starcruiser Superfan Christine, and with me are...
Superfan Drew.
And Superfan Martin.
Well, today we've got a cornucopia of topics that we're discussing.
A virtual cornucopia.
A space cornucopia.
Oh, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're going to talk about today, Martin?
I sure can, Christine. First up, we're going to talk about our brand new Patreon campaign, and we've already got some supporters, which is really exciting. And then we're going to talk about our upcoming Starcruiser Superfan meetup in May. Then we're going to follow that up with some kind of interesting news about some cast changes that are happening at Galactic Starcruiser, and then jump into our main topic about how Galactic Starcruiser actually compares to some of the other Disney resort options and kind of packages as a whole from a value perspective.
Yeah, we're gonna answer the question that everyone always asks about Starcruiser, which is
it worth it?
Well, last week we introduced our brand new Patreon campaign, and we've already got supporters.
Yeah, we had supporters probably within the next, it took that next morning we had the supporters online. So thank you very much to people who went ahead and subscribed to our Patreon page. You can find us at patreon.com/heroes of the Halcyon, just in case you're keeping track.
All sorts of cool things, holographic stickers, action figure card backs, t-shirts. It's all for you on patreon.com/heroes of the Halcyon.
Exactly. And again, thank you very much to those of you who subscribed. We have plans for what we're going to do in the future because, again, it was really pretty exciting to see that we got supporters so quick. So we're looking and discussing some of the options that we can provide and look forward to talking more about that later on.
Thanks for keeping us star cruising.
Well, if you haven't already heard, we are planning a Galactic Starcruiser Superfan meetup in Florida on May 2nd, just before our May 3rd through 5th voyage.
I don't know which I'm more excited about, the actual voyage itself or the meetup.
I know, meeting people
Is
in
it too much to ask for both?
No, well, if we get to put both those hands together, that's true.
Exactly. So you don't have to be a passenger on the Starcruiser to go. We're looking for people who live in Florida, people who are planning on cruising, cast members, crew.
People who just happen to be at Disney World at that time.
I mean, come on down. As we start to put our plans together, we'll let you know. We've got some great people scouting for us, boots on the ground, to make sure we've got the perfect place for everyone to meet up, have a drink, have some laughs, and talk about Starcruiser.
We have had such an incredible response to this already. It's going to be so much fun to actually meet some of these folks that we've been talking to, seeing on Zoom, talking to, just because of the podcast. Let's see them in person. Let's have a drink.
Yeah, and all of us will be there. It'll be like a real live sublight circle. So that'll be fun.
Love it.
I'll tell you, the only requirement to join, got to be a Starcruiser superfan. See you there. Well, some more news that happened this week. Well, it was bound to happen. It had to happen eventually.
Sure.
No one's happy to hear it, but we have had our first announcements of cast departures for Starcruiser Year 2. And Christine, can you tell us some about the announcements that we've heard so far?
So we did see a recent post from Sage Starkey, who is Sammy, and most recently has been able to play Lieutenant Croy, which
that was fun
awesome.
to see. Yeah, that was awesome.
But yes, he's one of the originating members that was able to develop the Sammy character, and he's been our Sammy on both of our voyages.
Both voyages, yes.
And had an absolute blast with him. He's amazing. The other person that we're aware of, too, is Matt Pablo, who was Sandro. And he was our Sandro.
He was our first Sandro.
For Voyage 1.
For Voyage 1, yeah. And he's worn in the full Togruta head tails. He's also worn just the newsboy cap that some of the Sandros have with the makeup down the face, the facial tattoos. So he's been on various versions of Sandro.
Yeah, and an amazing voice.
He can play space guitar like nobody I've seen. Yeah, he's so great.
But if you go back to one of our earliest episodes, whenever we're talking about their original voyage, he was the one that ended up introducing me to Starcruiser.
Yep.
I mean, he was the one that, whenever I first got on and had that first person reach out and start to talk to me, I thought, wow, this guy's really nice and he's got a cool costume and, well, this will be cool.
He's really into Gaia.
Only to find out that it was Sandro.
It was funny because I actually figured it out probably like 45 seconds before you did, that this is like it was just fun to watch you realize that you're in it. You're in it right now. And that was such a fun thing, that the joy that just crept into your face is that it's on. The game is started.
Yeah.
But our friend, Sarah J. Mack over at Princess and Scoundrel, she had a really good point that she posted. Because, of course, you hear the Star Cruiser haters. The cast is leaving. The Star Cruiser is over. But Sarah J. Mack actually had a really great point, is that these contracts that they have with the cast, for the most part, are 1-year contracts. Well, we're approaching the 1-year anniversary of Galactic Starcruiser. So it just goes to show that, some contracts are going to be renewed, some aren't. Some folks are going to elect to, do different things within Disney or outside of Disney. And it was bound to happen. So it's always sad to see performers go, especially ones that we've had and we've loved so much. But we have to wish these folks well in everything that they do. We're going to keep following them. They made a real difference. Not just to us, but to, hundreds of people every voyage. They made a difference.
And we can't wait to see what they do next.
So what do you think the most common question is when you talk about Galactic Starcruiser with people?
Do I need to dress up?
Or is it any fun? Or
is the food any good?
Is the food good? Right. Actually, I would say the most common question is it worth it?
Well, I think we know our answers.
Oh, that's no question. I hope that if people haven't listened, this is episode 36 of our podcast. So if we don't like it and don't think it's worth it, they probably are a little bit,
But I actually think this is kind of an interesting topic, though, just from the general, perspective of, compare the value that, Galactic Starcruiser offers versus, comparable. If you're not going to Galactic Starcruiser, most people are going to be just doing a day at Disney World,
right,
or 2 days at Disney World. How does that value kind of stack up? Is it 2 times the cost, 3 times the cost, more? Let's break this down.
Yeah. So to do that, we actually went and did what they call in the real estate biz. We got comps.
Ooh,
there we go.
Familiar.
Yes, it does.
So we, we had to actually break down the Starcruiser experience as much as we can, and then go find comparably priced things. And it still isn't an apples to apples comparison.
There really is no comparison.
No, since it's a unique event, of course.
It's kind of like an apple to a Mercedes.
I think that's right.
Yes,
yeah,
I think that's the comparison.
An apple to a squid. I mean, what is it? Right. Oh, I just got it. The Starcruiser would probably be the Mercedes, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
See, I'm slow, but I get there eventually.
Space Mercedes.
Right. So,
okay, now you really want to see like a hood ornament on the front of the house.
Well, I think there is. We just don't see it very often.
It's a bit of lore to be revealed later.
Right. Mm-hmm. So what we did is we went out and we got some comparable lodging at Disney. We obviously priced out a ticket to go to the park. Like we go to Batu on day 2. So we priced out a day at Hollywood Studios.
Food.
We looked at food.
Entertainment.
We got some entertainment costs. So for lodging, what did we do, Martin?
Well, there's 3 different levels of tiered pricing for Disney resorts at Disney World. There's the value class, which Drew, what's included in the value class?
Sure. So that's like the all-star resorts, all-star music, all-star movies. Mm-hmm. I think. What makes a value resort, Christine?
The real value to it is that it's a place to put your head at night.
Yeah.
It's no frills. Still nice. I mean, we've stayed at one before.
Just less theming.
And I mean, final floors are just fine.
Sure.
You just need a place to sleep.
They're very cold, so we recommend slippers at the value resorts. But
again, we've stayed at it. It was great. I'd do it again.
It's perfectly fine. And the main thing that I was really shocked about at the value resorts is the food. I mean, they have that central cafeteria level where it's got multiple choices of food that you can have. So you're never really scrambling for breakfast selections. I mean, it works really nice.
I happen to really like the Art of Animation Resort a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's really nice.
That's one of my go-tos. But if you're moving up from the value level, you go to the moderate level.
Sure. That's like Caribbean Beach,
which
right?
Again is one of our personal favorite. That's that's our favorite in the moderate category.
Right.
And then then the top tier, of course, is the deluxe resorts. That's going to be like the
that would be the Grand Floridian, the Polynesian, the Contemporary. These are the higher level ones that are close to Magic Kingdom or to Epcot or close to Animal Kingdom, and they're more conveniently located. They have much nicer furnishings. but there's still just a place where you sleep.
Right.
So, but
That's
charge a lot of
Starcruiser
for
money.
them. Yeah, exactly. Right. So what we did is for this, I chose Caribbean Beach. That's the pricing was right around the same for all of them. The Caribbean Beach was kind of in the middle, so that's what I chose.
If you're actually comparing like the typical room on Starcruiser, there's 94 of the basic room,
Right,
there's
right.
4 of the
Yeah.
Galaxy class suites, and then 2 of the captain's suite. I think that's a smart move. I think Caribbean Beach is the closest
Yeah, sure.
you can get to the overall accommodation, and we're purely talking about the room itself at this point. We're comparing the room to room, and again, you can't beat the theming at Starcruiser,
Right.
But for the purpose of this comparison, I think you went with the right resort.
How about food, Christine? What do we do for food?
Food, we ended up leaning into Space 220.
Yeah, because for the dinner, we wanted to get something that was a multiple course meal,
Right.
fixed price like they do at Space 220, higher level of cuisine versus just sitting at the table service restaurants at the park.
And again, we're not trying to compare Starcruiser to like the cheapest possible Disney World trip. We're trying to compare it to the closest you can get. Accommodation and comfort and amenity wise as we can. So yeah, Space 220 I think is a good choice for that.
So for the other meals, I thought back to what it costs to feed my family. It's 4 of us when we go to Hollywood Studios or Magic Kingdom or Epcot. And so I kind of settled on around $20 a person for lunch, which seems expensive. I get it, but it really is.
Not a Disney.
That does not seem inexpensive at all.
Yeah, and then for breakfast, I was like, $15 is pretty comparable. It's not terrible. So that's the kind of thought that I had for breakfast. Do you think that works out pretty well?
That actually seems a little bit low to me.
Yeah.
But again, we're for the purpose of the comparison. Sure, we don't want to overshoot, but you're hard pressed to get a meal at Disney for less than that for sure.
The other thing that's hard is at the other restaurants, it's one meal and you're done. You get your burger and your fries and get the heck out of here. But on the Starcruiser, if you want to go get another burger and fries,
Right.
Or another burger and fries, or more pizza, or you can keep going back. It's all you can eat.
Right.
You do realize you're talking about the blue milk dispenser, right? That is all you can drink, and I can drink a lot.
I didn't add the blue milk in when I ran these figures, but
I have a
thought
line
about it
item
every once
on
in a while.
mine right here.
Yeah. So how about entertainment, Martin? What do we do for entertainment? How do we pick something?
That's tough because really, Starcruiser, you are kind of a big piece of the entertainment, and but really, if we're gonna just pick the closest analog, I could say to paid entertainment to kind of comp this to, I'd say let's pick the Cirque show, Drawn to Life,
Okay.
at Disney Springs.
You guys saw that, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was a good show. I liked it a lot. We generally like the Cirque shows that we've seen, and this one stood up pretty well in my mind. And that's roughly, again, there's different tiers for seating and whatnot, but let's just say $100 a ticket.
Yeah, that works.
It's pretty. I mean, there's
Sure,
a lot of
sure.
service fees and all that stuff, and tax that goes with it. But so figure $100 a seat. That's about the closest we could find for paid entertainment.
And realistically, that's for a 2, maybe 3-hour show. That's difficult to compare to Starcruiser. That show, it feels like it's nonstop.
Yeah.
It is nonstop. Yeah.
My algebraic brain is going, maybe I should have done a per hour charge for that and broken it down that way, but that would add too much, and we already ran the number, so I won't put that in.
Now, with all those breakdowns in mind, we kind of wanted to do the cost comparison to see how it stacks up for a 2-person trip.
Sure.
Versus a 4-person trip, because
Right.
those are easily identifiable numbers on the Starcruiser website. They actually say, 2 people in a cabin, it's this much. 4 people in a cabin, it's this much.
Yeah, and I actually chose those numbers right off. They said they were from cruises from August of 2023 to September of 2023. So that's the figure. That's the dates that I chose for going to the parks. Yeah.
And then really just to kind of keep things, as even as we can, there's around a 10% tax we added pretty much across the board. I mean, there's resort fees, there's taxes, there's everything.
And I don't know what those are, so I didn't throw those in. Right?
we just, again, I do believe 10% is what we added. And that's pretty, if we generalized across the board, that's a defendable number.
So, Christine, what do the numbers come out to for a 4-person trip to Hollywood Studios? They're going to spend the night at Caribbean Beach. The next day, they're going to go to Hollywood Studios, have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Then they're going to go back to their hotel, and then they're going to come have breakfast the next morning and then get the heck out of Dodge.
So for people to do that on a family of 4,
Yeah.
The cost per person?
Well, let's do the whole round. I mean, it was actually pretty shocking when I saw how much it cost.
Yeah, that's why you use a credit card so you don't use
Yeah,
plastic. You don't have to see the real numbers.
Yeah, if you could use Disney chips, that's even better. Right.
So that worked out to $2,515.
Yeah, and it's crazy. You might say to yourself, that's crazy. What numbers are they using? Well, I got 4 park tickets. That's $545. The lodging, that's $300 a night at Caribbean Beach. And then the meals we talked about, that's around $20, $15, $20 a person for, the food. And then dinner at Space 220, it's a fixed price menu. It's $79. So when you add taxes on top of that dinner comes out to around $350.
Yeah, tax, tip. I mean, yeah, that's...
I didn't even throw tip in, but I mean, when you do this, it's expensive. I was a little shocked to see that.
I mean, Starcruiser actually looks pretty darn good. When you look at, what is your comparative alternative?
Right. Well, let's get to that in a second. What about the 2-person trip, Martin? What do we look at when we were talking 2-person?
Well, 2 people, it actually came, it's a little bit less because it's adjusted, but the actual total for these 2 days, at the park at Caribbean Beach was $1,560.40 to be exact.
Don't forget the 40 cents because that's what, gets you through the door.
So you can kind of see that, the value actually kind of starts going, the per person value definitely jumps the more people that you got going.
Yeah.
The raw cost jumps as well, naturally.
Sure.
Yeah. If you kind of look at what Starcruiser costs for 2 people.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. What's the 4-person cost for Starcruiser, Christine?
Okay, so the 4-person cost for Starcruiser is $65.98.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Which when you just look at that number by itself, I can understand why people go, wow, that's expensive. Until you compare that to a very kind of basic trip, 1 day in the park.
1 day in the park.
At Disney World.
Yeah. And one thing too that I didn't break when I broke out the pricing in that $2,500 for the day, that includes a night at Cirque du Soleil. The Drawn to the Animation. And that was only one night for that show.
Yeah.
I mean, with Starcruiser, you have two nights
of full entertainment.
Yeah, you've got easily 8 to 10 hours of on-stage time with the various crew members and cast members on the show.
And multiple varieties of entertainment as well. There's a dinner show. I mean, there's dinner shows each night. So to me, the entertainment, it's not an apples to apples comparison, but we had to throw the closest analog. But if you look at, for 4 people, for the number to jump from, $2,515 to $6,598. Sure. Is that a jump?
Yeah. It's like what, a little over 2.5 times as expensive?
Yeah, for a family of 4. And then again, if we kind of look at let's talk about the 2-person,
and
then we'll kind of chat about the whole thing. But for 2 people, the number went from $1,560.40
and 40 cents. Don't forget the 40 cents.
To at Starcruiser, it's $5,289.90.
Yeah, so a little more than 3 times as expensive to go on Starcruiser. But when you break that down to per person, obviously, when you have 4 people in a room, it's a lot less per person than it is for 2 people.
Bring friends.
That is the secret. I know families who are bringing their kids, maybe they won't be able to bring as many friends. Well, they can bring one more and then have somebody pay that cost for that other person. There's no question. It's more expensive. But is it worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so to me, obviously to all of us, as we said at the start of this, certainly it is. And when we break it down and it's 2.5 or whatever it is, times more expensive for 4 people to go on Starcruiser than it is to go to just Hollywood Studios and then 2 nights at the hotel. To me, Starcruiser is way more than 2.5 times more fun.
Absolutely. And again, you're looking at a table of 3 of the biggest Disney theme park fans in the universe. But to me, we've been to the theme parks, so that it's kind of an interesting thing to talk about. Okay, how about someone that hasn't been to the theme parks as often as we have?
Yeah.
Does the equation shift for those people?
To me, again, just if I put a baseline on it and say that Starcruiser is 10, Hollywood Studios, just a day at Hollywood Studios and then 2 nights at the hotel, that's like a 4 or 5 compared to Starcruiser, I mean,
and again, we love the parks. They're sensational, but there is nothing like Galactic Starcruiser. So for me, it's a bit of a, you got to gulp and, budget this out.
Right.
But is it worth it? Absolutely. Galactically, yes.
Look, we've been to Art of Animation. We've already
Sure.
determined that.
Right.
And when I was there, nobody handed me a giant pencil and nobody led me over to the trampoline so I could participate in, their circ acts.
Yeah.
You get that on Starcruiser. How do you put a price on that?
Yeah. You get to know Wraith. You get to stare Croy in his dead eyes, and you get shake
lightsaber
hands.
training.
You get lightsaber training. You get to shake Guy's hand.
Wani. You can't put a price on, if someone that has never seen Wani, and the people that weren't even expecting Wani to be there, that just that is completely spoiler free. That's what kind of price tag can you put on? You have to see that once in your life,
sure.
At least once in your life. Preferably 2, 3, or more times in your life.
Sure. Yeah, no, if somebody's never been to a theme park, ever, this is going to be their first time going, they're going to set their level at Hollywood Studios with Rise of the Resistance, Smuggler's Run, Slinky Dog Dash, Tower of Terror, all the other attractions that are at Hollywood Studios. They're going to have a pretty flippin' amazing time.
Absolutely.
But again, to me, if they spend that 2.5 times more, I think they're going to have way more than 2.5 times more fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I got very reacquainted with my eBay account selling some things to fund Starcruiser. And, do I regret those things being no longer in our possession? Not for a minute.
Sure.
Not for a minute do I regret that. This was a trade of a lifetime. Honestly, Starcruiser is a life changer. Like, I love these theme parks. They're a deep part. I mean, that's where Christine and I went on our honeymoon.
Sure.
Damn near 30 years ago. But you don't walk out of a theme park and have it change your entire life and outlook. And it changes your relationship with Star Wars.
Sure.
It does. At a fundamental level, it changes your relationship with Star Wars. You're a part of it now. Like, you've seen it live. And there's no going back.
Yeah.
So especially, you don't need to love Star Wars to love Starcruiser. But if you do love Star Wars, you're in for the biggest ride of your life.
Yeah. So our audience, we suspect, and we want to do an upcoming demographics push. So look for that in future episodes. But we suspect a lot of our audience has already gone on Starcruiser, so they're nodding their heads with us. But I'll bet you there's some people out there who are interested in Starcruiser, and they're kind of living vicariously through us and the folks that we have on the show. For those people, you said you don't have to be a Star Wars fan, but it helps.
It helps.
I don't think there's any question. Sure. Well, what else would make it worth it if you're not a Star Wars fan and you're still kind of on the bubble?
If you like games.
Yeah.
If you are into gaming, any kind of gaming, really, it's a live action game that you're a part of for 2 days. There's different things like escape rooms that you are participatory. And, we've had, Jen on that's talked about, LARP events and whatnot that look sensational, but just nothing else has got the scope and frankly, the production value of Galactic Starcruiser. I can't, we've looked far and wide for something that is at this level, and Disney has just raised the bar completely. Like, it's not just raised the bar. It's just put the bar on jetpack and shot it into the sky. And I dare someone to catch it because I'd love to see it.
I have to say, Martin, it was really fun to watch you make that metaphor in real time. So that was pretty cool. That's good. Well, how about people, Christine, how about people who like unique entertainment?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anybody that enjoys, I would dare say, Broadway. Anybody that has done plays in school, that has done, acting in school. Gosh, the LARPing thing always comes back. D&D. Again, you're talking to people, and we've told these stories over and over again, but you're talking to people who enjoy Star Wars and went on Starcruiser thinking this is going to be really cool and got something out of it that I don't think any of us expected, and any of us have the exact same experience.
Sure.
Even if you're just somebody who's just open to new experiences, this one will be, I don't know that you'll ever be able to top it again. Yeah, I'm
going to go to another, segment that I think really would get a lot of value out of Starcruiser is foodies.
Oh, sure.
Now, sure.
Good point,
Again,
good point.
It's not fancy food, but it's really interesting, exotic, brilliantly prepared and planned menu. Again, it's this perfect blend to me of familiar tastes and textures while appearing very, very exotic. That's a difficult, tightrope to walk, and I just think they nailed it. So if someone really is kind of into interesting dining, I think they get a lot of value out of this.
I think so too. And again, the second time we went, we ate so much food. Oh my gosh! Bring more bantha, please.
Yes.
Bring more. Can we get more shrimp? That'd be great.
Well, and again, without getting into specific spoilers, there is a flat out show the second night. I mean, there's I'm not just going to go into spoiler territory, but it's a stunt show. I mean, you've got an actual battle happening around you, and its production values to me are significantly higher than like a theme park stunt show. We love Avengers Campus. Avengers Campus is great, but the stunt show looks like a theme park stunt show. I think that's a very fair thing to say.
Okay.
I don't think many people would argue that. The thing, the event that they have that you're live and present for on Galactic Starcruiser, that doesn't feel like a theme park stunt show to me. That feels very real. I mean, it's choreographed, it's scripted, but it doesn't feel that way. And there's a couple moments that are genuinely, to me, shocked me that actually got the ooh and ah
right
audible. Like you hear and that's one thing that it's kind of like when you're in a movie theater with a bunch of people and something really cool happens and everyone oohs and ahs together. There's that moment in the atrium when what happens for all the people that have been there. The entire audience just gasps that did I just see what I just saw? And yes, you did.
Yeah,
and
sure.
It was awesome.
So something that is interesting in my research for this, I looked at, you can also pay for the experience with DVC points. So people who are Disney Vacation Club members can use points to pay for this. That's not worth it, just for the record. The cost that they have for the conversion rate. One site that I saw basically said that you could stay at Saratoga Springs for something like 2 weeks or even a month at the lower value point conversion for the price that you'd pay to stay on Starcruiser for the 2 days.
No, I can't justify that.
Yeah, so DVC point conversion, that's not a great way to go. Now, mind you, if you don't have 2 weeks and your points are going to expire, well, that's a different case. But yeah, so that's one place where I say maybe it wouldn't be worth it. But for the straight up money, again, we all know that we like the experience, so we're not shocking and surprising anybody when we think it's worth it. If you're paying a 2.5 to 3 times multiplier for Starcruiser over a basic 1 day at a park with 2 nights in a hotel, and you get way more than that, in my opinion, than your money.
Well, realistically, it comes down to this. Everybody has something that they love.
Sure.
And the amount of money that they're willing to spend on it depends on their love.
Sure.
If somebody told me that they had paid $1,000 per ticket to go to the Super Bowl, I would think they were nuts.
Okay, sure.
But if football was their life and this was their one opportunity to go see the Super Bowl, $1,000 seems like nothing.
Yeah, good point.
And that's not a statement to belittle the fact that money is still money and you have to earn it and you have to save it and all those kind of things.
Right.
The time that you do take to save up that money, once you do have the opportunity to pay for your voyage, it's going to be a sweet victory whenever you walk onto that ship.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I do have to go back, and we've discussed this in past episodes, but it's really a valid point here, is that the enjoyment, not for everyone that goes to Starcruiser, but a huge percentage of them, it's not just a 2-day thing. The planning is so much fun. Now, again, I love planning my standard Disney park vacations. I love it. They're fantastic.
Yeah, but you're not planning a whole lot there.
That's it. I mean, it's there's not a ton to do. Whereas with Starcruiser, it's for us and for many, many, many other people, it's months of dedicated prep work, and it's the funnest project you'll ever undertake. For me, it was anyway. I mean, this was such a rewarding thing. I mean, I learned so many new skills in this and met so many creative people, and it just was so fun to just, dig really deep into, how far do I want this rabbit hole to go?
Right.
For me.
Yeah. So character creation.
Yeah. And what I couldn't put a dollar amount on that. I couldn't. That was months that I spent that I am so so satisfied with the results that we came up with.
Right.
You won't get that from any other kind of vacation. I mean, again, you can plan a vacation. You can plan it, in detail, but you won't spend the time or can't spend the time that you can spend on Starcruiser if you choose.
Right, sure. Good point. And again, you don't have to. This isn't a requirement. But, we happen to advocate for spending that time creating characters and so forth. Well, one thing that I'm going to go that's on the other side is after the experience. When you come off of the Starcruiser, you're thinking about the Starcruiser. I mean, we've been watching some friends that we've made over the podcast. They just came off the cruise in the last week. They've been posting their pictures on Instagram. They've been sharing the experiences, and you could just feel the love for this experience coming through and how much they're putting into it. So there's the time after your vacation that also it stays with you.
I agree. And again, for someone that just wants to there's the subset of folks that they want to Instagram. They want to have Instagrammable photos. Well, there's going to be thousands of people posting theme park photos every single day.
Sure.
Every single day of the year. But the photos you can take on Starcruiser are so unique comparatively that I really do think if you're just looking for a unique experience to document and post and have something cool on your timeline that's not the same as so many other people, that's a valid point as well, too.
Well, and how many vacations have we all been on where we come back super excited to show our pictures to, friends at work or, family or whatever, and they just kind of, pat you on the head and be like, wow, those are really great. That's really cool.
Oh, look, you're on a beach.
Oh, yeah. Galactic Starcruiser, there is a whole community of people that will gleefully like and comment on your photos because they're either almost on their way to go, that they're hoping to go soon, or they've been and are pining to go back again.
Right.
And everybody is so excited for you to go, for you to have gone, and are willing to have those conversations over and over again with you because of the nuance that is Galactic Starcruiser. Everybody's experience is just a little bit different than the people that went before.
Right.
And so it's not the same, oh, you went to Disneyland. Yeah, I went to Disneyland too. Oh, you did the thing. Yeah, I did the thing too. And there's no nuance to it. Doesn't mean you don't love it. Doesn't mean you don't enjoy it. But the nuance that comes from Starcruiser is something that can't be replicated.
Sure.
I went on a Starcruiser. Top that one.
Yep. So I guess all of this said, this isn't a surprise because, we've been doing this for a while. We really do love the Starcruiser. But to me, there's just no question. It's worth the price. You can't get it anywhere else. All the benefits that we talked about. To me, you're going to pay, let's just say a 3-time multiplier over a similar trip to Hollywood Studios, but you're going to have way more than 3 times the fun.
100%. Could not agree more. I'm looking at some empty shelves from my collection, and I'm thinking about the amazing memories that I got for that trade, and I'd do it all over again tomorrow.
Well, thank you for joining us for this grab bag episode of Topics. Christine, if people wanted to reach out to us on the interwebs, how would they do so?
You can find us on Instagram at Heroes of the Halcyon, on Twitter at Halcyon_heroes. You can email us at heroesofthehalcyon@gmail.com. And don't forget Patreon at patreon.com/heroesofthehalcyon. Next week's episode will be another fantastic round of Sublight Circle.
Woohoo!
Yes. Well, this is a fan favorite format, and it's definitely a favorite of ours too. If you'd like to be part of the February episode, just email us at heroesofthehalcyon@gmail.com.
Well, it is always fun to shoot the poodoo with all the Starcruiser superfans out there. So until next episode, it's our honor. Let's raise our glasses with the Halcyon toast.
Tabooey Tay!